Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Barbara Ham Lee. If you watch reality TV, like for instance, The Housewives of Atlanta, you know that the sizzle that keeps you coming back for more is the backbiting, devious, mean-spirited, and dysfunctional way the so-called friends get along. And the more drama, the better. Up next on Another View, two friends from Atlanta, but with an entirely different vibe. Trina Horton and Valerie Floyd are lifelong friends who know what it truly means to be a friend, and will share with us the power of the pair. Friendship at its finest. It's next on Another View, so stay tuned.
Discussing today's topics from an African American perspective, this is Another View.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Another View. I'm Barbara Ham Lee. Before we get started on our topic about friendship today, let me thank all of my friends out there listening to Another View. Thank all of you so very much for all the warm birthday wishes. I really appreciate it. Actually, I was completely overwhelmed. So I just want to thank everyone for thinking of me. And it's a milestone birthday. I've been blessed to have 60 years on this earth. And so I'm proud of it. I know a lot of people say, don't tell your age. But guess what? I think that it is wonderful every day that we get an opportunity to make a difference in someone's life. So thank you, and thank you. So let me ask you a question. Why is it in pop culture that women never get along? Where did the perception come from that women are jealous of other women, cannot get along with other women, would rather fight and scratch and be the B word to other women? Is that truly who we are? Or are we like our guests today? Two women who have been best friends for more than 42 years and believe that authentic friendship is powerful and the cultivation of true friendship can create a thriving lifestyle through accountability, inspiration, motivation, and confidence. Let's meet facilitators, keynote speakers, and creators of The Power of the Pair, Ms. Trina Horton. Hi, Trina. How are you?
Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing great. And also Ms. Valerie Floyd. How are you doing, Valerie?
I'm well. Hello, how are you?
Good. I'm doing just fine. So both of you are in Atlanta. You're very best friends, a very different dynamic than what we're used to seeing if you happen to be a connoisseur of reality TV. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, definitely.
So,
yes.
So, tell me what, and I'll start with you, Trina. What is a friend? What makes someone a true, authentic friend?
Well, a true, authentic friend would be made up of several things. It would be, first of all, trustworthiness. You need to be loyal. And also a good friend would be able to learn how to give as well as get in a relationship. You need to be consistent. And you need to accept and also affirm that friend. Mm-hmm. Friendship itself is voluntary, and it should be flexible and unconstrained. So, we need those things. It also is going to help fulfill your needs for affection and affirmation. So that's what I think a true friendship is based on.
Mm-hmm. So, Valerie, when in this age of social media and, liking and being friends on Facebook and on, various platforms, is that true, authentic friendship, or is that something different?
Well, Barbara, I would say a lot of things that you see on social media as far as friends, the likes in which we call friends, no, that's not true authentic friendship. Really, it's artificial. And I believe that it gives a false perspective to people, making them feel that they're more popular than they really are. Because the people on social media, you don't know them and they don't know you. All they know is the best picture that you posted on the website or on your social media. Mm-hmm. All they know is the best moments that you capture that you want the world to see of you. So it gives a certain perception of you, that you're living a certain lifestyle, that you're a certain person, and that you're around certain people. Because we all know when we take a picture, we want to give our best. So they might take 50 pictures, but they're going to pick the best too. And the same thing with anything else. As far as, material things and places that they may be at. So, no, I would say that the social media and a lot of times reality TV is not authentic friendship. Not saying that the people can't have some sort of relationship and that it can happen. Anything is possible. But 9 times out of 10, that's not what you call authentic friendship.
Mm-hmm. So, Trina, tell me, how did you two get together? What made... Tell us about your connection first, and then how have you been able to sustain it over 42 years?
Okay. Well, actually, Valerie and I met at a former church when I was 6 and she was 7, and we were getting ready to be baptized at Easter sunrise service.
Uh-huh.
So we were sitting on the pew together, dressed in our white robes with our white head coverings, waiting to be baptized, and we just struck up a conversation as little girls, and we've been together ever since. And we've been through a lot of things together through the friendship, marriages, divorces, raising kids, loss of family members. We just we lived apart in separate locations, and we just managed to always stay in touch no matter what. Mm-hmm. And I feel like our friendship really required a lot of effort to stay in touch because we did not have the technology then that's available today. So we had to write letters. We would have to make phone calls to family members to just try to be consistent with the friendship. Mm-hmm. And we just managed to always be there for one another no matter what.
Valerie, so what was it about Trina that drew you in? How did you know you guys were going to be best friends?
Well, with Trina, I have to admit she's extremely loyal, number one. But not only that, she's dependable. If she says she's going to do something, if we make plans or she promised to do something, she actually does it. And if she can't, she communicates. She's a very good communicator. She will contact me and communicate and let me know if she can't, do, because life happens. Sometimes things happen and you can't do what you thought you would be able to do. Mm-hmm. And I think also, in addition to that, is that Trina is really good at reaching out. She really is. She's really good at reaching out. There was a time when I lived out the country, and I was in Spain, and she was in Michigan. And, of course, we weren't able to talk on the phone every day at that time. And obviously we didn't see each other every day because we lived in 2 different parts of the world. But she would write letters. She would reach out to my sister to try to find out what's going on with me. I would respond to her letter, So she's very good at reaching out and trying to keep those lines of communications open. And I just like her dependability and her loyalty. I mean, she has been loyal to, when nobody else is standing, Trina will be the Lone Ranger still standing.
So Trina,
she's really, really good at that.
So Trina, same question for you. What was it about Valerie that you knew that she was going to be a friend for life?
Well, with Valerie, I think that you're able to trust her. I could tell her whatever, and Val would keep it in confidence forever. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate that about her. And I feel like she is totally consistent, no matter what, through the good and bad of things. She just remains the same. She has that same wonderful demeanor that no matter what I'm telling her, if I'm on 10 at the time, she just still is able to stay calm and consistent through everything. So those are some things that, I really value about my friendship with her. Mm-hmm.
So what do you all want to help others to do in terms of their friendship? And either one of you take that question. What are you trying to do in terms of bringing to the forefront why it is so critical that you have a true friend in your life?
Trina, I'll take it if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
This is Valerie. Go ahead, Valerie.
Yeah, this is Valerie. I would say the importance of friendship and what are we trying to get out to the world? Why is friendship so important? Well, first and foremost, God created us to be relational human beings. And so we need one another, whether we believe we do or not. And a lot of times we get very independent about our way, especially women. We have good jobs, we're educated, and we're going on about our way. And we just feel like, sometimes we can get in a place where we feel like we don't need anybody. We made it on our own, and we really haven't. But we all need someone because God made us relational. That's one. Mm-hmm. And secondly, statistics have shown that there are health benefits to, being friends, and that it helps you to live longer. You know, according to WebMD, there was a study done with the mature adults, and it just showed how about 1,500 of them over a span of 10 years lived. You know, they had like a 22% rate of living longer than those that had non-social lives. So we really need one another. We just want people to know that authentic friendships still exist. Women can get along, and we are a living testament and example of that. And it takes being real and authentic. It takes, getting out of yourself sometimes and stop being selfish. It's give and take. The world does not revolve around one person. And if you're open to that, then you can have authentic friendship. And if you cross a path with someone and you see that they're not, then perhaps you need to reevaluate that relationship. And they might just not be the friend that you think they are. And sometimes you have to walk away from relationships if they're not good for you. So I think those are some of the things of why it's so important, because we need one another, number one. And two, there are benefits to having someone that you can rely on from time to time, someone that you can depend on, that you have a sounding board, because you cannot keep everything bottled up, and no man is an island. Absolutely. So that's, I think, the essence of what we want to get out to the world.
So, Trina, you mentioned before, like when you guys were living in different parts of the country and the world, actually, and so forth. Talk about what it takes to really work at a friendship, because it's not just something that just comes together and you don't have to work at it.
Okay, you're right. Basically, staying in touch is like the backbone of friendship itself. If you are not prepared to put the effort in to do it, then you may need to rethink if you really want to have true and authentic friendship. You know, when you are new friends, it's really important to stay in touch, because that's the way you're creating the relationship. So when you meet new people, make sure you follow up with them. A lot of times, you know, we're waiting on the other person, but it's okay to reach out, you know, to that person and just follow up and let them know you enjoyed meeting them. I think that with friendships that have already been established, you just have to make sure that you do some catch. Sometimes we get so busy in our lives that we don't think about calling people just to catch up and see how they're doing. And so I would advise that if you plan catch up with someone, just mention something important to them, you know, to see how they've been doing. Like if they've been in school, ask them how school's been going. You know, if they had something going on with the kids, ask them how the kids are doing. And just like do an invite to them to do something special. And one thing that Val and I were talking about with technology now, how about we can set up reminders on our phones, calendars. We can set them to follow up with people. You can send text messages, Facebook messages. Let's use all the technology for something good for a change. So those would be great ways that you can stay in touch. And then also there's still the old school way of doing things. Send a card. Send a letter, a little note just to tell that person, hey, I was thinking about you. Hope all is well. You know, just do something to let them know that you care. But it will require effort. And that's where sometimes with friendships, they fall to the wayside because people just don't want to put forth the true effort.
So do you ladies think that there is a difference between friendships between women and the friendships that men have between men? Or do you think that they work the same way?
This is Trina.
Okay, go ahead, Trina.
Well, I believe that it really depends on the person. I found that in talking to some guys that some of them, they deal with some similar issues. It's not really, I don't think, the norm, because men are wired different, of course, than women. So a lot of the pettiness and things that women deal with, men are just not there for all of that. So I think you may have to just look at the individual circumstances too.
But why is it that women get such a bad rap about being friends and the backbiting and, you know, the arguments and all of that? Why do you think it is that that's the perception of friendships between women? Valerie?
I would say because that's a lot of what we see. You know, you see, and it's unfortunate, but a lot of what we see in media, or whether it be TV, radio, social media, you have it. Even in person, that's a lot of what we see. So I think it comes across that women can't get along, they're mean-spirited, they're jealous of one another. So because we see it so much, it's kind of embedded. But I do believe that, we know that you can have authentic friendship. But one of the reasons is because that's what we see. And number two, I've witnessed it. I'm sure a lot of people have too. I've actually, witnessed drama. And I just think sometimes, and as Trina was saying, individually, you have to judge things individually. People a lot of times have a lot of baggage. They have things of, how they grew up or life experiences that, cause them to perhaps be a certain way. Insecurities, and we all have them. We all have insecurities. Nobody's perfect. But we're just saying, on a general spectrum, it has a lot of different elements as to why people act the way they act. But again, we see it so much. It's sad that a lot of times that's what we put out in public. So when people view that, then people want to shun away, and it's on TV. It's on TV every other day.
Trina, you guys, you've been together for 42 years. It doesn't matter how much someone loves someone or they're together, there are going to be disagreements. So how do you and Valerie handle disagreements? And then secondly, how should friends handle it when they don't get along?
That's a great question. I think with Val and I, if we disagree on something or it may be an issue that could perhaps need to be addressed, we usually deal with it immediately. Okay. I find that it's not good to let things take a long period of time before you address it. So Val and I we will talk to one another about the issue, and we'll work it out. We state how we feel about the situation, and if an apology is needed, we'll apologize for it, and we move forward. We don't hold on to it. We're willing to own it and move forward. That's pretty much how we've existed throughout this friendship. So that's how we do things.
440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240 are the numbers to call to join our conversation. Who is your best friend? Tell us your story. How did you meet? How do you maintain the relationship? 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. So let me ask you, ladies, if you meet someone, you're getting along and so forth, and they may perceive you as their friend or their best friend, but you may not feel the same way. How do you handle that situation? Valerie, why don't you take that one?
That's a good question as well. Let me just make sure that I understand you correctly. You said, so if we meet someone and that particular person views me as a good friend or a best friend, but I don't perhaps perceive them the same way. I don't have the same feeling or the same liking towards them. Is that what you were asking?
Yes.
Okay. And that has happened to me before. I'm still cordial and, to the person, and we still could talk, and we might even, meet or something for dinner or something once or twice. But if I don't get that, I don't want to say vibe, but, that discernment with the person, and relatively soon, once you're around a person enough, whether or not there's somebody that you would want to spend your leisure time with on a regular basis. And if I see that it's not somebody that I have a discernment with, or I feel comfortable being around in that capacity, I just won't allow it to get, I won't mislead them. But by the same token, if they're inviting me to different places and they want me to come and they're kind of pulling me in, I will politely, I just let them know that I won't be able to make it or that I have something else going on. So, I don't want to use someone's time or waste someone's time, so I'll let them know that I won't be able to make it because I really don't want to go. So I wouldn't just go somewhere and I know that I don't want to be there and I know that it's not somebody that I really want to be around. So I won't allow it. I won't practice a routine with someone knowing that it's not going to be anything and that this is not going anywhere. So kind of from the beginning, like I said, I will remain cordial and nice, and not saying that I can't speak to them or even have a bite to eat with them, every blue moon or something, but that would be very rare. I would not allow it to get, I just wouldn't allow myself to just really be mingling with them, because you have a choice with your personal time. You can choose who you want to be with. Family members you can't choose. But you can choose friends, and you can choose how you spend your leisure time. And I would just plan accordingly with that. And eventually the person will get the message that you're not trying to be with them on a regular basis. It's a way to do it.
So, Trina, do you see that there is a hierarchy in friendship? Is there a hierarchy in friendship? In other words, could some people are at the acquaintance level, others are closer, and then there's the ultimate best friend? How do you discern where the relationship is?
Well, I do believe there's a hierarchy. I do think that you normally start off as acquaintances, and then you may build your way to a casual friendship, and then, if desired, the ultimate would be to have that best friend, or, to have that really authentic friendship. It just depends on what you're seeking. But what I'm thinking about is how people I define friendship by like simple and complex. Like you have those simple friendships are usually the acquaintances level, where it's kind of like just for, mere companionship, and you may meet the person through school or work or hobbies. You might exchange some information and have fun together. And then, I think the ultimate in friendship is the more complex friendship, where you're getting that emotional support. You might disclose some personal things about yourself. You find that you've got similar outlooks on life, and then that person is a helper to you. Like that's like the ultimate friendship. So I would think you would have 3 levels: acquaintances, casual, and like I said, that ultimate best friend relationship.
440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. Give us a call. Tell us about your best friend. We'd love to hear your story. 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. So we have a question from Facebook. Earlier, you guys were talking about seeing each other through divorces. So the question is, how much of a role did each of you play in selecting someone to date, or to talk about whether you thought the other friend should date that person? How much do you get involved in each other's love lives?
Well, you want me to go back?
That's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, that is funny.
I would say, and Trina, you can chime in whenever you get ready, but I would say we don't really get into, we haven't thus far really, we don't, how can I say this? We're involved, but not to the extent, we're involved, as far as, if the other one asks our opinion or our thought process on something.
Okay.
But we don't get involved as to telling somebody who they need to date and who they shouldn't date. Now, of course, if I see something, just definitely wrong or endangerment or something that's really, I feel is going to harm Trina, I will speak up right away. But we really hadn't had to do that per se. With boyfriends or even getting married. So we're not. I haven't been that involved on that side, and neither has Trina. As far as dating and stuff of that matter. Now going through divorce, that was another thing. Going through a divorce, she was there for support. I was a sounding board for her. If she needed me to do something for her, I did it. To that. But as far as being all involved in the mix of the relationship, no.
What do you say, Trina?
Well, I say I can recall a few times where I may have been dating, and I did bring that person for her to sort of meet, to fill out, just in case she wasn't able to see.
To make sure they pass the test, huh?
Right. And so, I've done that with her, and then, like she said, as far as divorce, we both, went through some really serious divorces, and we were there for each other through the process. It was really difficult at times, but we were definitely there to support each other. So we don't get overly involved in the guy thing with one another. Usually one of us may even come to the other to state what's going on and to see how they may feel.
Yeah.
But we're not bossy in terms of telling each other, well, you need to get with him or you just need to leave him alone. No, it has to be a legitimate
complaint. I got you. If you're just joining us, we're talking about authentic friendship with the creators of The Power of the Pair, Trina Horton and Valerie Floyd. Let's go to our phone lines. Melinda joins us from Hampton. Hi, Melinda. You're on the air.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, how are you?
I'm doing great today.
Good. What's your question?
Well, my question is, I've had a person that's been a friend of mine for over 15 plus years, and it started out as an acquaintance, and as time went on, we got to a casual and even to a place of real good friendship. But in the last few years, this friend is somebody who I feel like they suffocate me. They don't allow me to have room. They expect me to want to do everything that they want to do. And it's almost like a controlling relationship. And whenever I try to have my own opinions or thoughts about it, it gets to a place that they feel like they know what's better. So I've been trying to wean myself from this individual, but they seem to be offended by it because, I didn't know a good way to do it. It's just that, it's been so many years and I'm trying to pull back because I don't feel like the relationship is healthy for me anymore. But they seem to still want it. And now it's to a place that there's really just casual, hello, how you doing?
Gotcha. All right, let's let our experts respond to that. Trina, you want to take that first?
Sure, I will. Well, one thing we know about control is that the controlling person will definitely not like the fact that you've awaken and realize that, hey, this is not good for me. This is toxic. I'm being depleted here. So we know that friendship is you give and get. It's reciprocity in that. And it's also where they have to be willing to accept you and affirm you instead of always looking for you to just cave in to whatever they want to do. That's totally an unbalanced relationship. So if that's what that person is seeking and you realize that this is not for me, I think the best thing for you to do was to pull back from the relationship. And it's hard. It hurts when you have to, separate yourself. But you do have to remember that you have to love yourself first and foremost. So if it's not good for you, it is time to sort of pull back. And I believe that, you'll have other flourishing relationships that may need to come forward. But due to that relationship, perhaps had not been able to. So I think you've done what was the best thing as far as that pulling back.
So, Valerie, you want to add to that in terms of should she then sit down? Should she sit down with this friend and tell her?
I would also just piggybacking off of what Trina said that, yes, I think a lot of times we get stuck in the length of time. Because I heard you say 15 plus years, which that is a long time. It really is, and that's an investment. However, once you realize, and like Trina said, once you awaken and realize that, I'm depleted, she's pulling from me, I feel controlled, I don't feel like I have a say, it's unbalanced, it is time for you to pull back. And because it has been 15 years, it won't be easy because, you guys have developed a pattern. And you have a routine with one another. And so she's used to you, I guess you could say, kind of giving in to her way, a will, so to speak, So you continue to do what you do, pull back. She's not going to like it. She might have something to say about it, but you just wean yourself off her, just pull back. And eventually it will fade. It will fade, but it is a process because you've been in a relationship with her for 15 years, a friendship. And that won't just fall off like overnight. So it's a process. I had a situation, giving an example of myself, with a friend that I had been friends with for years. We went to college together. We met as freshmen. We were good friends all through college. And that relationship came to an end, and it was painful for me. I didn't even know she was upset with me about something. I don't feel like it was unbalanced, but I think maybe it might have been some other elements going on that I was not aware of. In that relationship, Trina saw something that I didn't see. But it did come to fruition, and for me it was painful because I thought she was my friend, and she really was upset with me or hating on me or whatever you want to call it, and I did not realize that. So I'm saying all that to say you continue to pull back because you cannot sell your happiness just to please someone else.
So you bring up a really good point, though, because there are times, even though the two of you are best friends, I'm sure you also have other people in your circles that may not get along. So how do you handle that? Because some people want to bring everybody together, let's all have a big party. And sometimes that's really not healthy. How do you guys set the boundaries?
I'll take that, if you don't mind.
Okay, Trina, go ahead.
Well, I actually experienced that where there was a time that, for me, I wanted for everybody to just come together. We're all friends. We're going to be happy, have a great time together. And I realized that was not going to work out because of the different personalities and all. So when I think about my friends, I like to put people together who may have similar personalities, similar interests. And then when we go out, we have a great time together instead of trying to pull everyone together and make them fit into this, perfect puzzle. So that I learned a while ago that's not going to happen. So just look at your friendships in different ways. Like you may want to go out with people who perhaps like shopping together. You may go with friends who may like going to the movies together, or someone may like going out to dinner together instead of trying to always force friends to come together who may not even care for one another for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Valerie, you had the same thing?
Yeah. I would say with that, and that's an excellent question because everybody do not jive together. Everybody don't gel well. And once you discover, and a lot of times you can see from personalities, some friends, and like you say, everybody's not a friend. Those different levels are incorporated in that circle. So you have your good friend, like Trina's my best friend, and I have somebody that's kind of like I see this person every once in a while, then you have an associate. So you have different levels within that group. And once you discover, you know who, where everybody fits with you. And because I know Trina, I know who to bring in the circle with me with Trina. and vice versa. I got certain friends and I don't want to say certain friends for certain purposes like you're using people, but I'm simply saying everybody has a different purpose in your life. And something like she was saying, there are people that used to have just a good time where they know all the latest nice restaurants and they like to shop, because I had a friend like that. But I knew I could not confide in her. She was not my best friend, but she was somebody that I had met on a job. We had been working together for years. Our kids, I kind of watched her kids grow up. She watched my son grow up. And so we had a working relationship, but I knew she was not trustworthy. And she was a gossiper. But she knew all the latest places to go shop and stuff. So sometimes I would go with her for shopping, or we sometimes might go have dinner or something, but it was a line. There were boundaries. I did not confide in her. When I did things with Trina, she was not in my circle when I did things with Trina. If I traveled, if we went to concerts, she wasn't in that circle. She was over on another side. So you put people where they are. Some people, they're good at uplifting you. They're good at prayer or whatever. So you just, and that's how you have to approach it, because everybody's not going to get along.
Exactly. So since the two of you are working together and you've got power of the pair, you're motivating others, has that changed your relationship as friends, either positively or negatively? And if so, how?
This is Trina. I think that for me, it actually made the relationship grow stronger because we're dealing with working together with your best friend is like a totally different part of the relationship. So when we come together, as far as our business, we have to sort of put the best friend hat to the side, if you understand what I'm saying, and not focus so much on that part as far as, making sure that business-wise that we have things taken care of, in place, that we've done what we committed to do for the business.
Okay.
So I think it's really helped the friendship in that facet.
Okay. What about you, Valerie? Has it changed it in any way?
And again, it's good because it has been another added layer component to our friendship because in business, because it's two of us, you got that support. You know, you got that accountability. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, you know, just my job, my regular 9-to-5 job, you know, would require me. It's very demanding, and it would have me. You know, I don't have a whole lot of leisure time at work because I have deadlines and stuff of that nature. And whereas Trina, she will have more time to do, not that she doesn't have anything to do, but her job requires differently than mine did. So she could probably pick up where I could not, you know, meet a deadline, or I couldn't get an assignment done because I was doing this, you know, at work or whatever. So she would pick up that for me. And then she would remind me, I would say, Trina, look, I know I got to get this done. Text me at work at such and such time. Call me to remind me, you know, just to jog my memory. Okay, take 10 minutes to get this done. And she would do that for me. So she has been a help for me to help me stay on track. And when I can't meet a deadline or when I'm falling short, to remind me, send me reminders, text me, email me, just a brief. It wouldn't be long, just a one sentence. Babe, remember to do such and such. And I'll stop and get it done.
Right.
So for us, because it's two of us, you know, we have that balance and that support. And so when one is not quite up to par, the other one can take up the slack and so forth.
Okay.
So it really has been a help.
All right, let's go to Nicole calling from Atlanta. Hi, Nicole. You on the air?
Hi, how are you?
Okay.
Great. I just have a little question. I really enjoyed the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I have a lot of nieces and nephews. So what would Miss Valerie and Miss Trina suggest? And I also have kind of, I guess we all have a kind of a messed up family to a certain extent. My best way to, as politically correct as I can put it. So when you come from a family that is not really close with each other, how can I help my nieces learn to connect with each other and build a friendship as well as a sister and brothership?
Okay, that's a great question. Valerie, you want to try that first?
Okay, yeah, that is great. And I don't think it's just one set answer for that because that you know, just listening to a little bit of what you said about a little bit of a background, that involves a whole lot of components. So I don't think it's just one answer per se, but I will say that I believe by setting an example, first and foremost, when you're dealing with young people, a lot of times they will look at you and they will look at how you live or your relationships or what kind of friends or relationships you have and how you deal with those people. That's one, you know, setting an example and spending time with them. If you can spend some quality time with your nieces and nephews. And you might have to do that individually. I don't know. You might be able to bring them together, but sometimes you might have to take two or one and, you know, just go spend some quality time with Auntie. You know, if you know that they like Dairy Queen, take them and go have a Sunday. You all go and have ice cream and sit and talk and chat and kind of get caught up in their world, find out what they're doing, find out what they like, you know, and be a listening ear. Don't be a dictator.
Yeah.
Because with young people, the last thing you want to do is have your finger point. You shouldn't be blah, 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 blah. Now, don't get me wrong. If something is going on that needs to be, you know, needs to be addressed, it's going to harm them or something of that nature, then yes. But generally speaking, you want to talk to young people. Mm-hmm. If you come to them in a disciplined, in a corrective mode all the time, then they see you as being, and they don't want to listen to you. And to be honest with you, they hate to see you calm because they know that you're negative and everything comes out your mouth is what you should not be doing. Why are you not doing this? You shouldn't be doing that. Don't always come down so hard. Sometimes you have to talk to them and not at them.
Well, I love the idea of modeling friendship for them and showing how a good friend.
You know, people watch what you do. They watch your demeanor.
Absolutely.
Your demeanor.
Let's try to get in the.
They watch how you talk to people. They watch how you treat people. And if they see you doing a certain thing, the first thing they'll say, well, you do it. Well, I got it from you. I got it honestly. You know, I mean, young people are something else.
Yeah, that's very true.
They will tell you about yourself.
Trina, Valerie, I want to try to get another call in before we run out of time. Hold on a second.
No problem.
That's okay. Let's talk to Roland in Chesapeake. Hi, Roland. You're on the air.
Hi, I love your show. I was
Thank
listening to the
you.
girls, and a lot of good feedback coming in there. I believe in the power of the pair. I have a few pairs of gentlemen in my life who have helped me achieve some high heights. One particular friend, we do the therapeutic thing where, we've been clean now over 25 years and helping support each other. And another friend at work. We're like BFFs. We've not only worked together 15 years, but I quit that job, started my own business, and we've done over $30 million worth of work, jumping in trenches back to back. So we know a lot about helping each other, building each other up, going through alcohol and drug addiction. One of the things I was going to tell the girls, and, I kind of disbelieve, even when it comes to professionals from time to time, in telling people what to do. And the reason I say that is if I tell you, the caller, what to do, and I'm wrong, then you have a right to hold me accountable. Now, I vehemently agree with what she just said. Attraction speaks louder than promotion. Whether it's the next generation, this generation, or the generation gone by, when I talk about me, you're more inclined to listen to the things that I've gone through than to build walls or fences.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
And that's one of the things I wanted to get out. I don't think society really puts enough emphasis on attraction rather than promotion. It's not the things that we say that reaches these kids or reaches people. It's really what we do, because people learn from what they see. And sometimes when you don't even see it coming, that next generation will recite something you did because they saw you do it. And if it works for you, it can work for them. If it didn't work for you, chances are it won't work for them,
Okay. Thanks, Roland, for the call. We appreciate that. Definitely. Trina, you want to react?
Well, that was so good what he said, because I just think about how in society we don't normally get taught how to be a friend. So I think it's good that when we can actually show the kids how to develop positive social skills and that character development that friendship's a part of.
So I do have one quick question. We've got about 6 minutes left in the show for the two of you. As each of you were going through your divorces and so forth, or if one of you got married before the other, how did you handle maintaining your friendship and also being involved in a romantic relationship? In other words, was it competition or was it okay, and you just kind of backed off because now they had a mate? You know what I'm saying?
Well, Trina, you want to go start it?
Okay, go ahead, Trina.
About how, Val, we have a joke. Her sister says she got married in '76, but she actually got married before we graduated college. So, during that time, I was just still, just dating, and when she got married, I had to be the type of friend who would let her just go and be married. And she actually moved to Florida. So we still kept in touch, but I was able to understand that the relationship was going to change, and that was okay. She had at the time, her husband, I knew him. We were also friends. So that was, fine. It was an adjustment because I had been used to my friend, and been able to just hang out with her whenever I wanted to. But I was okay with the change. And, we still, like I said, managed to keep our friendship. So.
Oh, okay. And Valerie, what do you think from your side? Because that does become an issue sometimes.
And then when Trina got married, I was living away at the time when she got married, but I came back home to be in her wedding. And again, I was okay with it. I was already married when she got married, so I was fine. It did not bother me. And that's why I know for a fact that, God really, it was meant for us to be friends, because we've just managed to be able to deal with and work through however life brought the twists and turns and changes. Because getting married is a positive thing, so it wasn't nothing negative. And then when I got married, of course, before I actually graduated from college, when I was dating my husband at the time before we got married, Trina and her boyfriend, we all went on a double date together. So we did some dating together before we got married. So she got a chance to meet him and know him and develop some sort of relationship too. So I think that kind of helped too.
So it sounds like the thing that's really important in being best friends is also maintaining your individuality.
Yes, Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, and that's what we've been able to do. We have been able to do that. Trina have allowed that from me and not, get jealous or just cut off the communication. And I have been able to do that with her, and we've just flowed. And like I said, we haven't been in each other's faces every year throughout the 40 years, but we've managed to at least keep in touch.
Right, got you. So we have about 2 minutes left. I'm going to let each of you say something to encourage people to develop and maintain their friendships. Valerie, I'll start with you.
Okay, sure. I would say, again, be what you want. Be what you expect from someone else. If you want a good friend, then just exhume and give the example of that to other people, and you will get that in return. If you want a good friend, then, keep your mouth closed. Don't be a gossiper. Be generous. Be a giver. If those are the qualities that you want in someone else, and if that's how you want someone else to treat you, then you treat other people that way, and then people will draw to you. And I do believe that, a good friendship will develop and grow from that. But you actually have to be what you want, and that you will draw that to you. So that's what I believe.
Okay. And Trina, what would you say in terms of what people need to do in order to be a really good friend?
Well, I believe the first thing would be to learn to love yourself. Learn to love yourself from the inside out, because in order to give, you have to be willing to love you first. And I also say to be open, be, responsive, and learn how to have trust.
Mm-hmm. And just make sure that you don't lose your individuality in the relationship.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, ladies, if people want to get in touch with you to learn more about friendship and to learn more about the power of the pair, how do they do that?
Well, they can reach us through our social media.
We would love for you to visit our website. You can always go to our website at www.powerofthepair.com. We would love for you to email us. We have a wonderful blog on our website with articles that address friendship in different capacities. And if you would email us, you can email us at info@powerofthepair.com, and that's pair, PAIR.com. Please, you're welcome to follow us on Facebook. That's Trina and Valerie. Instagram, Power of the Pair. Twitter, Power of the Pair. Periscope, Power of the Pair.
They can find you everywhere. That is so fabulous.
Yes.
Power of the Pair, Ms. Trina Horton and Ms. Valerie Floyd. Thank you so very much for joining us today on Another View. We appreciate it, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Essie Pacer-Murkerson from Law and Order. You are listening to Another View.
And welcome back. On our last show, we tried to bring you the story of entrepreneur Joseph Collins and his startup television network, Punch TV. Well, we ran into some technical difficulties, so we're trying it again today. As you may recall, Mr. Collins started Punch TV with less than $10 million, a feat in itself, and he shares with our Lisa Godley what drives him to create diverse programming and pushes him to take his network to the top.
I'm a go-getter. I make up my mind, I visualize the things that I want, and then I create a plan to go get it.
Which could explain how Joseph Collins has taken a syndicated martial arts TV news show and turned it into a fast-growing television network called Punch TV Studios. The goal of Punch, to create original programming that appeals to a diverse audience.
You're watching Punch.
Punch TV.
Punch.
Punch TV.
Punch.
What's up? It's your girl Gabrielle Union, and you are watching Punch TV.
Punch TV is currently accessible to more than 50 million homes and has gotten SEC approval to sell stock to the public. And the man holding the reins has done it all. But Joseph Collins says the thing he loves most is when he gets a chance to be creative.
I really enjoy the movie-making process. taking nothing and turning it into something. We just shot our first live production in a long time, and it was called The Underdogs of Comedy. And it was hosted by Speedy, and we had some great comedians on. We had a full audience, and I literally directed that show, and that to me was so awesome to be able to do that. And I had not been able to direct in over 3 years. Really, most of the times I have to be creative through other people, or I end up providing the financing for other companies that want to do shows. And so I kind of like don't get to be a part of that part of the creative process. But I enjoy that. It's just so exciting to me.
But he's quick to point out that he often has to divorce himself from the creative process in order to ensure that all the necessary components to grow a successful television network are in place. And his stories of getting things done shows just how determined Joseph Collins really is.
I personally made 8,179 calls. And
Wow.
I called every TV station in America and in Canada. You know, I said, I have to get this done. I'm not going to put this part in anybody else's hands. I'm going to pick it up, put it in my hands. I got on the phone, and I got my assistant to help pre-dial calls for me. And when they connected, and I got on the phone, and I would be pitching my behind off them.
Wow.
Matter of fact, I don't have any behind now because I pitched it away. You know?
But he didn't stop there.
I went and visited different TV stations, and I talked to the owners, and they gave us space in their TV spectrum, and we launched the network from that point on. I actually climbed poles and turned the stations on in those markets because sometimes the station owners were too busy. I didn't want to wait. And what people don't realize is that TV station and broadcast facilities are in horrible places. They're in backwoods. They're on top of mountains. They're like in these horrible places. Now, the production place, it looks great. Most folks are great. But when you're actually turning on a studio, you're going down these dirt roads, and you're in the back up there with the deer and the mosquitoes and everything to try to get the station up and on the air. And I've done it many times. And that's how we got our station launched.
Collins says along with time and sacrifice comes discipline.
Tell yourself, you know what, in spite of everything, I'm going to continue on. In spite of the hard parts of it, in spite of the disappointments, in spite of all those things, I'm going to continue on. You know, when you're building your business, sometimes, you know, do I keep a couple $100 in my pocket, or do I pay my cell phone bill? You know, I better pay the cell phone bill just in case that one customer calls that could change my life. You know, you're really only one call away from meeting the person that could change your life. And you don't know who that person is, but you're just waiting to get that call. And to me, that's so important. It's just awesomely important.
For Another View, I'm Lisa Godley.
You're just one phone call away from that call that could make a difference, major difference in your life. That really is profound. Thank you so much for spending the past hour with us. You can also re-listen to this show or catch a show you may have missed by downloading the podcast at our website, anotherviewradio.org, or wherever you find your audio favorites. We're on Facebook, so like us, and I'm on Twitter at Barbara Ham Lee. Next time on Another View, Chef Jerome Grant. He's the head chef for Sweet Home Cafe at the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture. And we're going to be talking about the history of African American cuisine. It is going to be fascinating. Our theme music was composed and performed by Jay Sennett. Lisa Godley is our show producer. Victor Bowen is our audio engineer, and Trey Watson answered our phones. I'm Barbara Ham Lee. Enjoy the celebration of our nation's birth, and thanks again for listening to Another View.